Welcome back to Dr. Gilbert Healthy Aging. I am Dr. Gilbert. Throughout my active, decades-long career as a clinical physician, a neurological researcher, and a practicing general surgeon who has operated on the fragmented lumbar columns and collapsed hips of thousands of older adults, I have stood at the bedsides of proud, independent individuals and listened to the tragic postmortems of their mobility. When you spend your entire life working inside emergency surgical suites, examining the damaged tissues of compressed intervertebral discs and shortened tendons, your clinical perspective changes. You stop looking at senior back pain and posture breakdown as an inevitable genetic clock, and you begin to track the exact, daily mechanical errors that lead to catastrophic spinal instability. You realize a deeply unsettling truth. The ultimate threat to your independent physical sovereignty does not wait for you on hazardous outdoor staircases or icy sidewalks. It slips into your life inside the quiet comfort of your own living room, operating as a slow-motion trap during the hours you spend relaxing in your favorite chair. And today we are going to shine an uncompromising, highly precise medical spotlight on a silent, slow-motion mechanical disaster taking place inside the homes of millions of aging Americans. It is a profound structural breakdown that I refer to in my clinical practice as the lumbar psoas contracture and axial compression loop. It is a hidden mechanical trap that locks your hip flexors in a chronically shortened state, flattens your natural lumbar curve, crushes your exiting spinal nerves, and makes standing tall without excruciating stiffness or balance loss almost impossible after the age of 70. Let us sit down together and have a completely raw, honest clinical conversation about a heavy, silent physical reality that many of you face every single day. Have you noticed that when you attempt to stand up after sitting in your favorite upholstered armchair or deep living room recliner for an hour or two, your lower back feels completely frozen, locked in a dull, crushing ache? Do you find that during those first 10 or 15 steps, you cannot fully straighten your torso, forcing you to walk with a slight forward-leaning hunch until your hips painfully thaw out? Have you felt a sharp, catching sensation in your lower spine whenever you try to reach upward toward a high kitchen shelf or stand upright to wash dishes at the sink? If you recognized your own daily experience in that description, I want you to focus your mind and listen to the sound of my voice with absolute, undivided attention today. You are unknowingly caught inside a severe biomechanical collapse. The standard Western habit of spending hours slumped in deep, soft furniture is systematically shortening your deep hip engines and crushing your vertebral discs under unrelenting downward gravitational force. You are not just getting old, you are allowing your structural columns to fold in on themselves, placing your spinal cord under continuous mechanical stress and shutting down the primary guy wires that protect your balance. In the mainstream world of modern primary care medicine, I see doctors and therapists make a fatal mistake every day. When a senior over 70 complains of chronic lower back stiffness or an inability to stand straight, they are treated with passive, commercialized laziness. They are given heavy prescriptions for anti-inflammatory drugs that dull the pain while leaving the underlying tissue contracture completely untouched. They are told to avoid movement, rest more in cushioned chairs, or wear heavy, rigid lumbar braces that actively accelerate muscle wasting. But as a general surgeon who has seen the physical cost of chronic axial compression, it is my duty to share the raw clinical truth. Smearing pain creams on a compressed spine or retreating into soft chairs is an absolute medical failure. Avoidance does not restore your cartilage or stretch calcified tendons. It accelerates neurological sarcopenia and disc degeneration. If your deep psoas muscle remains locked in a short, tight contraction, every time you force yourself to stand upright, your pelvis acts like a jammed lever, pulling your lower vertebrae forward and driving your intervertebral discs straight into your spinal nerves. I did not create this ultra-deep dive masterclass to leave you in a state of psychological discouragement or helpless fear. Fear is a paralyzing, useless emotion in your longevity journey. Quite the opposite. Today, I am going to hand you an absolute, scientifically validated mechanical shield of protection. In this episode, I am going to reveal a remarkably simple posture reset, inspired by the ancient Zoken-gake floor cleaning movement practiced for centuries by Japanese Zen monks, that possesses the unique biological power to instantly decompress your lumbar spine, release frozen hip flexors, and restore effortless spine safety after 70. This specialized kinesiotherapeutic movement requires zero gym equipment, zero jarring impact, and can be performed safely using a standard kitchen counter or solid table. Yet, despite its simplicity, this single habit possesses the physiological power to open collapsed intervertebral disc spaces, rehydrate dry cartilage through fluid imbibition, and rebuild an unshakable wall of safety around your posture. If you are truly ready to stop hunching in pain, permanently release that crushing tightness in your lower back, and reclaim your vertical independence, turn off all distractions right now, focus your mind, and let us break down this deep anatomical knowledge together. Before we unlock the elegant neurological and biomechanical engineering behind the Japanese monk movement, take a brief moment to click that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. By doing so, you join our global healthy aging family and ensure you are always equipped with real clinical truths to protect your freedom. Now, let us uncover the hidden mechanical collapse that occurs inside your spine whenever you live with a Western sedentary posture after 70. Chapter 2. The Biomechanical Anatomy of Psoas Tightness. To permanently eliminate lower back stiffness and understand why traditional sitting habits destroy your spinal architecture, we must analyze the human musculoskeletal system through the strict, unyielding laws of structural leverage, vector forces, and tissue adaptation. Your spine is an engineering marvel, a flexible, vertical column composed of 24 vertebrae separated by fluid-filled intervertebral discs that act as hydraulic shock absorbers. This entire column is supported by an intricate network of muscular guy wires that regulate balance and absorb the continuous downward pull of gravity. At the absolute center of this structural network sits the most powerful, anatomically complex muscle in your lower body, the iliopsoas. The psoas is the only muscle in the human frame that directly connects your axial skeleton to your lower extremities. It originates along the sides of your lumbar vertebrae, from $L1 all the way down to L5, travels through the deep bowl of your pelvis, and attaches to the top of your thigh bone. When functioning correctly, the psoas acts as your primary hip flexor and dynamic lumbar stabilizer, allowing you to lift your leg cleanly and maintain a tall, proud posture. However, as we pass the age of 70, a devastating structural pathology occurs inside this deep engine, driven directly by modern Western seating habits. When you spend hours sitting in deep, plush armchairs, soft sofas, or car seats with your knees bent and your hips flexed at a 90-degree angle, your psoas muscle remains in a continuously shortened position. Under the laws of soft tissue remodeling, muscle tissue that remains unstretched for long periods undergoes adaptive shortening and fibrous contracture. The elastic collagen fibers within the muscle sheath lose their flexibility, turn rigid, and calcify. Look at the structural catastrophe that takes place the moment you stand up from that chair. As you attempt to extend your legs and achieve an upright vertical posture, your shortened, rigid psoas muscle acts like a tight bowstring attached to your lower back. Because it lacks the elasticity to lengthen cleanly, it exerts a massive, forward-pulling mechanical force directly on your lumbar vertebrae. This force triggers three distinct, highly hazardous pathologies. 1. Pelvic anterior tilt and shearing stress. The tight psoas pulls the front of your pelvis downward, rotating your pelvic bowl forward. This structural distortion creates severe shear loading across your lower spinal joints, forcing your vertebrae to slide forward out of natural alignment and placing extreme stress on the delicate facet joints. 2. Axial disc compression and cartilage starvation. As the vertebrae are yoked forward, the intervertebral discs, especially at the vulnerable L4, L5, and $4 S1 levels, are squeezed flat like sponges under immense hydraulic pressure. The protective fluid inside the disc is forced out, drying out the cartilage, thinning the disc space, and leaving bone resting dangerously close to bone. 3. Neural root entrapment. As the disc spaces collapse under this compressive load, the small bony windows where your major spinal nerves exit, the intervertebral foramina, become severely narrowed. The bulging disc material and inflamed surrounding ligaments physically pinch the exiting nerve roots, sending radiating numbness, burning pain, and weakness down into your buttocks, thighs, and feet. When your brain registers this structural compression and nerve irritation, it immediately triggers a protective survival reflex known as protective muscle guarding. Your deep back muscles lock up in painful, continuous spasms to prevent further joint movement. You are trapped in a vicious cycle. Tight hips crush your spine, compressed nerves shut down your strength, and locked back muscles force you into a forward-leaning, shuffling posture. To break this cycle, we must look to a time-tested movement pattern that manually decompresses the spine and releases the deep psoas without placing a single pound of dangerous impact on your joints. Let us now move away from structural pathology and focus entirely on the concrete, therapeutic solution. I am going to teach you how to execute the monk counter reset, known in advanced kinesiotherapy as the standing decompression and psoas traction matrix. This movement is inspired by the biomechanics of Zuken Gake, the daily floor cleaning ritual practiced by Japanese Zen monks who maintain extraordinary spinal flexibility and pelvic mobility well into their 80s and 90s by moving through deep, supported hip extension. When modern seniors attempt to relieve back stiffness, they often make a dangerous mistake. They stand up and force their upper body to bend backward, aggressively arching their lower spine. As an orthopedic surgeon, I must warn you that bending backward with short, locked hip flexors is structurally hazardous. It drives the posterior elements of your vertebrae directly into each other, grinding your facet joints and severely pinching irritated spinal nerves. We must do the exact opposite. We must create a movement pattern that uses your upper body as a stable anchor, allows gravity to gently pull your lumbar vertebrae apart, and stretches the deep psoas muscle from both ends without placing any compressive load on your lower back. By using a solid, waist-high kitchen counter or sturdy table as a support base, we eliminate weight-bearing stress from your spine, allowing your deep muscles to relax out of their protective spasms and flooding your dried-out intervertebral discs with fresh, nutrient-rich fluid. Let us execute this therapeutic reset together right now. Find a solid, non-slip kitchen counter, sturdy table, or heavy piece of furniture at home. Stand directly facing it, and follow me through the 4 precise, sequential phases of this mechanical movement. Phase 1. The forearm base anchor, axial unweighting. The first phase is engineered to remove the continuous downward force of gravity from your lumbar spine, creating an immediate, safe decompression zone. 1. Stand directly facing your kitchen counter, spaced about 12 inches away from the edge. Place both feet flat on the floor, hip-width apart, pointing straight ahead. 2. Bend forward slightly from your hips, and place both of your forearms completely flat on the counter surface, shoulder-width apart, clasping your hands together firmly to form a wide, solid triangle. 3. Allow a generous portion of your upper body weight to rest directly through your elbows and forearms into the counter. 4. Keep your neck long and straight, alignment aligned with your spine, keeping your chin parallel to the surface. Look directly down at your hands. Do not let your head hang down or crane upward. 5. Inhale deeply through your nose for 3 seconds, and as you exhale slowly through your mouth, feel your shoulders drop away from your ears and your lower back begin to unweight. You are creating a safe, zero-gravity environment for your lower vertebrae. Phase 2. The rear traction posterior step, psoas elongation. The second phase safely targets the shortened psoas muscle, gently stretching it without arching or pinching your lower spine. 1. While maintaining your firm forearm anchor and keeping your upper body weight supported by the counter, take a deep breath in. 2. As you exhale smoothly, slowly slide your right leg backward along the floor, stepping back about 18 to 24 inches. 3. Keep your front left knee gently bent over your left ankle for support. Keep your right leg extended straight behind you, pressing your right heel down toward the floor as far as comfortable. 4. Now, execute the critical posture trigger. Do not allow your lower back to arch inward. Instead, consciously tuck your tailbone slightly under your hips, a subtle motion known as an anterior to posterior pelvic tilt. 5. Hold this extended stance for 5 full seconds, breathing deeply. You will feel a firm, deep, therapeutic stretch, opening up directly in the front of your right hip socket and deep within your lower abdomen. This is your contracted psoas muscle, slowly releasing its tension. Phase 3. The sacral traction draw, disc imbibition. The third phase uses gentle physical leverage to draw your vertebrae apart, opening up compressed disc spaces and allowing synovial fluid to enter. From the extended step-back position achieved in Phase 2, maintain your firm forearm anchor on the counter and keep your pelvic tilt locked. Take a deep, slow breath in through your nose. As you exhale through your mouth, consciously push your hips backward into space, as if someone is gently pulling a belt looped around your waist, directly away from the counter. Keep your forearms firmly anchored to the counter so your upper body does not move backward. This creates a mild, highly therapeutic counter-traction force along your entire spine. Hold this gentle traction position for 5 full seconds, breathing slowly. You will feel an immediate, soothing sensation of space opening up in your lower back, relieving pressure off compressed nerve roots. Phase 4. The ipsilateral gluteal ignition, stabilization lock. The final phase activates the primary muscle on the back of your hip, the gluteus maximus, which acts as an anatomical antagonist to the psoas, locking your pelvis into lasting alignment. While maintaining the rear step and gentle spinal traction, take a deep breath in. As you exhale, consciously contract and squeeze the gluteal muscle, buttock, of your rear right leg with maximum mental intention. Squeeze it tight for 3 full seconds. According to the neurological law of reciprocal inhibition, forcefully contracting your gluteal muscle commands your brain to automatically release and relax the opposing psoas muscle even further. Release the glute contraction, step your right foot smoothly forward to return to the starting position, and stand tall. Immediately repeat this 4-phase sequence on the opposite side, stepping your left leg back. Perform 5 slow, deliberate repetitions on each side. Why is this simple reset so effective at saving your spine after 70? When you anchor your forearms in Phase 1, you instantly lift the weight of your torso off your lower back, eliminating axial compression. When you step back and tilt your pelvis in Phase 2 and 3, you stretch the deep psoas without arching your lower back, creating negative pressure inside your intervertebral discs. This vacuum draws nourishing fluid back into dry cartilage via imbibition. Finally, squeezing your glute in Phase 4 uses your body's wiring to turn off psoas spasms. In just a couple of minutes at your kitchen counter, you decompress your spine, release your hips, and restore natural posture safety. Now that you master the precise mechanics and execution of the monk counter reset, we must establish the precise medical dosage, scheduling protocols, and long-term biological timelines of how your connective tissues and spinal structures will adapt and heal. In senior longevity medicine, a therapeutic movement protocol operates like a prescription pharmaceutical compound. If you perform it randomly or ignore the rules of consistency, your nervous system and connective tissues will fail to build permanent adaptations. To achieve complete spinal decompression and permanently protect your mobility, I want you to perform this simple routine twice every single day, without exception. The morning kitchen dose, the post-sleep decompression. Execute this entire routine at your kitchen counter first thing in the morning, right after drinking your first glass of water. During 8 hours of horizontal sleep, your intervertebral discs absorb fluid and swell slightly, while your deep hip flexors remain in a shortened posture. Performing this reset upon rising thaws out morning stiffness, releases your psoas, and aligns your pelvis before you take on the physical demands of your day. The afternoon reset dose, the sitting interrupter. Execute this sequence in the mid-afternoon, around 3 p.m., the time when hours of cumulative sitting take their highest mechanical toll on your lower back. By stepping up to a counter or sturdy desk and performing the 4-phase reset, you interrupt chronic psoas shortening, prevent axial compression buildup, and keep your circulation flowing freely through your lower extremities. Let us also look at the fascinating chronobiology of connective tissue compliance. Clinical biomechanical data shows that human collagen fibers and spinal ligaments display their highest elasticity and compliance in the late afternoon, when core body temperature reaches its natural daily peak. Performing an extra set of resets during this window allows you to achieve deeper, longer-lasting lengthening of calcified psoas tissue with minimal mechanical resistance. What should you expect to experience as you maintain this daily protocol consistently? Week 1. The neuromuscular release. During your first 7 days, you will notice an immediate reduction in that frozen, locked sensation when standing up from chairs. The deep, dull ache in your lower back will begin to subside as protective muscle guarding relaxes. By day 5, you will find yourself standing taller with less conscious effort, and those tentative initial walking steps will feel smoother and more fluid. Month 1. Connective tissue remodeling. After 30 days of consistent daily execution, the structural collagen matrix within your psoas tendon and surrounding fascia undergoes physical remodeling. The fibrous contractures yield, restoring functional muscle length. Your pelvic bowl will return to a neutral horizontal alignment, relieving chronic shear loading from your $4L5 and Rechen Boral 5S1 facet joints. Radiating hip and lower back tightness will fade into deep comfort. Month 3. Structural disc rehydration. After 90 days, your spinal column achieves long-term structural adaptation. Continuous cycles of countertraction and imbibition rehydrate your intervertebral cartilage, increasing disc height and expanding the exiting nerve windows. Your deep core stabilizers will fire automatically to support your spine, giving you unshakable upright stability, renewed physical energy, and complete sovereignty over your daily movement. As a physician and general surgeon dedicated to senior physical autonomy, I must remind you that practicing your daily monk counter reset is only half the equation. You cannot expect to permanently protect your spinal health if you are unknowingly committing 3 common, destructive posture errors inside your own home every single day. These habits actively crush your vertebral discs, lock your hips in contracture, and undo the tissue healing we are building. Deadly mistake #1. Slouching in deep, ultra-soft recliners. Many seniors love to spend their afternoons relaxing in deep, heavily cushioned fabric recliners or plush sofas that sink down several inches under their weight. While this soft texture feels comfortable initially, from a structural biomechanical standpoint, it is a nightmare for your spine. When you sink into a soft cushion, your pelvis is forced to tilt backward into a slouched position, completely erasing the natural curve of your lower back. This structural collapse places a continuous mechanical compression force directly against your spinal discs, driving them backward against exiting nerve roots. My strict clinical correction: avoid ultra-soft bucket-style seating. Sit in a firm, supportive chair that keeps your hips resting slightly higher than your knees. Place a small rolled-up towel or lumbar support pillow directly behind the small of your lower back to maintain your spine's natural curve. Deadly mistake #2. Reaching for high shelves by arching the lower back. When reaching for item on a high kitchen shelf or top closet rack, many seniors stand close to the cabinet, extend their arm, and aggressively tilt their head and upper back backward. Because their hip flexors are tight, This backward tilting forces the lumbar vertebrae to hyperextend, pinching facet joints and narrowing spinal nerve channels. This motion is a primary trigger for acute lower back spasms and nerve pinches in older adults. My strict clinical correction: never arch your lower back to reach upward. Take a step back. Establish a wide staggered stance with 1 foot forward and 1 foot back. Brace your core abdominal wall and use a safe, lightweight step stool to bring the shelf within comfortable reaching height without straining your spine. Deadly mistake #3. Bending from the waist to pick up objects from the floor. When picking up a dropped item, a newspaper or a pet bowl from the floor, many seniors keep their knees locked straight and round their entire spine forward from the waist. Under the laws of physics, bending forward with a rounded back creates a massive lever arm effect, multiplying the mechanical force on your lower lumbar discs by up to 10 times your total body weight. For a 70-year-old spine with thin discs, this sudden load can easily cause disc herniation or severe muscle tears. My strict clinical correction: ditch rounded waist bending entirely. To lift objects safely, place one hand on a sturdy piece of furniture or wall for support. Step 1 foot back into a gentle partial lunge. Lower your hips toward the floor while keeping your spine long and upright, and use your strong leg muscles to lift your weight back up cleanly. My dear friends, as we draw this comprehensive spinal decompression masterclass to a close today, I want to step away from clinical terms and anatomical diagrams and speak directly to your heart, not just as a surgeon, but as a trusted companion on your journey of aging. Reaching your 70s, 80s, or 90s is an extraordinary, sacred milestone. It is a season of life that should be defined by your personal freedom, your hard-won wisdom, your peace, and your joy, not by physical restriction, daily isolation, chronic back pain, and a constant fear of your own living room furniture. You have spent your entire life working hard, sacrificing for your families, and building our communities. You have earned the right to live this season with dignity, with your head held high, and with the complete physical freedom to move through this world entirely on your own terms. Living with a frozen, aching back or feeling unable to stand upright without pain is not an inevitable consequence of getting older. It is a structural puzzle, a puzzle of shortened muscle fibers, compressed disc spaces, and unsupported spinal joints. And as we have demonstrated together today, every piece of this puzzle has a logical, scientific, and beautifully effective mechanical solution. Do not allow passive attitudes to dictate the boundaries of your world. Do not accept a life that slowly shrinks into a single safe room or a soft chair. Your body remains a miracle of biological engineering, fully capable of connective tissue remodeling, disc rehydration, and structural recovery until your final breath. You do not lack the capacity to heal. You simply needed the correct clinical blueprint. Now, today, you possess that blueprint. I challenge you right now as your physician. The moment this video finishes, do not remain sitting in stagnation. Stand up smoothly. Walk over to your kitchen counter. Set your forearms flat. Step your leg back into that gentle traction stance. Release your deep psoas muscle and give your spine the space and freedom it deserves. Send a clear, powerful signal to your body that you are ready to stay strong, protect your joints, and reclaim your physical independence. If you found today's masterclass valuable, please share it immediately with your spouse, your siblings, your friends, or anyone in your life who struggles with back stiffness or posture challenges. Let us work together to eliminate unnecessary physical suffering and protect the mobility of our seniors. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for your time, your trust, and for opening your heart to me today. Subscribe to our channel, move with intention every day, honor your body, perform your daily counter resets, and I will see you in our next clinical episode. Stay strong, look straight ahead at the horizon, and step forward into your day with confidence and power.